I'm giving myself 2 weeks to learn as much of the Persian language as possible. Will I be fluent in 2 weeks? No, of course not. But I want to learn enough to be able to reach out and make a connection with the people of Persia, the people of Iran. Farsi, or Persian, is the official language and national lingua franca of Iran, and there's a large Persian diaspora living around the world. Other varieties of Persian are spoken in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, but I'm going to be focusing on the variety spoken in Iran. The first thing I'm going to do is watch my own videos about the Persian language. I've never learned to speak Persian at all before, but I've made videos about its history and general features.
من کتاب را خواندم.
So now that I've done that, I'm going to go through level 1 of the Pimsleur Farsi course, which is an audio course, so I can focus on pronunciation while I'm learning. I'm also going to take all of the words, phrases, and sentences I learn in these Pimsleur lessons and make Anki flashcards for them. I'm making these cards in Romanized Persian. I more or less know the Perso-Arabic script and can read words in it slowly, but I'm planning to move quickly. On top of Pimsleur, I'm using one other resource, a Persian phrasebook from Lonely Planet. And again, I'll be loading all of these sentences into Anki so I can review and internalize them. And of course, an important part of this learning challenge is to get speaking practice with native speakers. So I'm going to take some online lessons using italki. And when I say lessons, I mean conversational tutoring. I chose a teacher with great reviews for being attentive to students' needs and level. This is Fatemeh.
چطوری؟
خوبم. شما چطورید؟
من خوبم، خیلی ممنون. در کانادا ساعت چنده؟
در کانادا الان ساعت چنده؟ صبر کنید. یک رو به 11.
یک رو به 11. خیلی دیره.
خیلی دیر اما دیر روز.
بله.
I'm sure you noticed some cuts in the footage. I'm not trying to fool you into thinking I'm more fluent than I am. As a beginner, it just takes a long time to put sentences together and I hesitate a lot. I forgot the word. Rather than drive you crazy with 1,000 ums and ahs, I decided to remove a lot of them, but not all of them, because I don't want to act like it doesn't happen. I also made some embarrassing mistakes.
تو صبحانه خوردی؟
نبلدم خوردی نبلدم.
خوردی to eat؟ خوردم خوردی.
She asked me if I ate breakfast, and I answered, I don't speak Kurdish.
You are a genius.
No.
This guy is a genius, no doubt.
Actually, there's some doubt. Well, in my defense, khordi, you ate, sounds a lot like Kurdi, Kurdish, but there were other words in the sentence. But if you find a teacher like Fatemeh who's a very patient and kind person, then you can just enjoy communicating and not really worry about mistakes. یک پسر دارم.
واقعا؟
Yeah.
خیلی خوبه. اون چند ساله؟
3 سالشه.
من هم یک پسر دارم و 3 ساله.
I took lessons with a couple of other teachers as well. One was quite hard for me to keep up with. In other words, she didn't speak simply enough. Wow, that was the craziest lesson I've ever had. The other was good for my level, but too structured for a short 2-week challenge. To learn the basics quickly, I need to dive in head first, but it needs to be with someone who's good at speaking simply for beginners, so what they say becomes comprehensible input. Fatemeh is very good at that. I took 6 online lessons in total, while continuing to do Pimsleur lessons, study, and use Anki flashcards for review. So after 2 weeks of study and practice, I wanted to try speaking Persian with complete strangers, outside of the context of a lesson. I tried to use a video chat application to meet people from Iran, but it turned out to be quite hard to find them. It doesn't seem like they can access this app directly from Iran, so they either need to currently be outside of Iran or use a VPN. But I did meet a handful of people from Iran and attempted to speak Persian with them. Warning, You're about to experience an Iranian internet connection. Hello, where are you from?
Where are you from?
I'm from Canada. Where are you from?
Hello, where are you from?
I'm Iranian.
Oh, Iran.
Where are you from?
İrani هستید.
Oh, Iran.
Yes, yes.
ایرانی هستید.
بله بنازم دمتم گرم.
کشور ایران خیلی دوست دارم.
Can speak پدر سگ.
Connection, man. ایرانی هستید؟ ایرانی هستید؟
بله ایرانی هستم. خوبی شما؟ بله بله. خوبی شما؟
من کاناداییم.
شما ایرانی بلدی صحبت کنین؟ ای پسر قدیره. بچه کجا میری؟
مردم ایرانی خیلی دوست دارم.
ایرانی هم شما رو دوست دارن. نظر لطفتونه. ایران پیکسی کولا. شما مال کجایین؟
در ژاپن. در ژاپن زندگی میکنم.
در ژاپن زندگی میکنی؟
ژاپن. خانم ژاپنی.
از کجا ایرانی بلدی؟ از کجا ایرانی بلدی صحبت کنی؟
I was confused by his question because he referred to the Persian language as Irani, meaning Iranian, rather than Farsi, which I had never heard before. After a long, awkward pause, the conversation ended.
Hello.
What's up?
چی؟
ایرانی هستی؟
بله من خوشبختم ولی بهت میخوره که ایرانی باشی.
فارسی خیلی خوب بلد نیستم. ببخشید.
اشکال نداره. اسمت چیه؟
اسم من پاله.
اسم من هم
اسمت نه. شما توی ایران زندگی میکنید؟
بله ما در ایران زندگی میکنیم.
توی تهران شهر تهران؟
نه ما در زندگی میکنیم.
I made the mistake of mentioning some current events in Iran, which made this guy obviously uncomfortable. The conversation ended soon after. Lesson learned. Don't talk about the news with people in Iran, even in a very neutral way. Speaking with strangers is a bit more nerve-rattling than speaking with an online teacher, because strangers aren't getting paid to speak simply and slowly with me. They speak however they want, whether I understand or not, and they might not feel like waiting for me to string sentences together. But in any case, I realized I wasn't going to get many chances to speak with complete strangers using this chat application, so instead I decided to reach out to the Langfocus audience. I knew there were some viewers in Iran, even though YouTube is not officially available there. Salam.
سلام.
خوشبختم.
منم همینطور.
Talking to people who knew who I was made me a little self-conscious, which made me say some awkward things. فکر میکنم که اسم من میدونید اما اسم من پاله.
بله اسم شما رو میدونم. اسم منم بنفشه است.
بنفشه. اینم دوست دارم.
اسم دوست داریم. ممنونم.
Oops, I hope that wasn't weird.
Okay.
ازدواج کردید؟
نه من مجردم.
بچه ندارید؟
نه من مجردم ازدواج نکردم هنوز.
Okay, that was a dumb question. But to be honest, it didn't really matter because everyone was really nice and I enjoyed getting to know them a little bit. یک سوال دارم. چند سالتون؟
بفرمایید. من 26 سالمه.
26. اوکی. حدود 40 سالمه. شما الان تو کانادا زندگی میکنید درسته؟
بله. اتاوا. پایتخت کانادا.
اتاوا. اما تو ایران به دنیا اومدید؟
بله.
من اهل کانادا هستم. تو شهر ونکوور به دنیا اومدم.
اوکی، جالب شد.
جالب شد؟
جالب شد.
یعنی چیه؟
جالب شد یعنی interesting. It's interesting.
جالب. اوکی، جالب. شغلتون چیه؟
من معلم تاریخ هستم در دبیرستان.
واقعا؟
Yeah, I'm a history teacher in high school.
معلم عالی. فکر میکنم که تاریخ خیلی جالبه.
تاریخ جالب است، مخصوصا اگر در کشوری مثل ایران یا چین یا هندوستان یا یونان یا ایتالیا زندگی کنید.
شغلتون چیه؟
من کار تولید محتوا و دیجیتال مارکتینگ انجام میدم.
یعنی
تولید محتوا به زبان انگلیسی. من مقاله می‌نویسم برای یک وبسایت کار میکنم در زمینه جراحی‌های زیبایی، cosmetic procedures. I write articles for the website, you know.
شما ویدیو هم میسازید؟
فعلا نه، اما قصد دارم در آینده این کار انجام بدم و هدفم اینه که یه کانال داشته باشم مثل شما تو یوتیوب اگه موفق باشم.
اوکی. الان نه فهمیدم.
I said that currently I'm not making videos like you, but I have plans to open my own YouTube channel, and I'm trying to teach Persian language to people who want to learn Persian.
As a beginner, sometimes it takes me 5 times as long to get to the point. گفتید که سالتون 21 درسته؟
بله.
یعنی الان دانشجو هستید؟
بله.
تو دانشگاه؟
بله.
پس چه میخونید تو دانشگاه؟
من تاریخ و علوم سیاسی میخونم.
سیاسی یعنی politics.
سیاسی یعنی political. It's an adjective.
Okay. Right. Okay. So politics, سیاست. Okay.
That's the noun.
نمیخوام درباره سیاست صحبت کنم.
متوجهم.
اینجا Celtic.
Yeah, it's Celtic or Celtic.
Celtics.
Yeah.
Is this the basketball team?
Yeah, the Boston Celtics.
That's them? Okay.
You follow?
Not so much. I don't really follow
sports. One of the biggest.
When learning a language, it's always really fascinating to learn more about the places where it's spoken. کجای ایران هستید؟ توی شهر تهران؟
نه، من در حال حاضر تهران نیستم، ولی خب حدود 7-8 سال اونجا زندگی کردم، ولی فعلا در استان چهارمحال بختیاری. It's one of the provinces of Iran.
اهل کجای ایران هستید؟
من مشهد بزرگ شدم و به دنیا اومدم که شمال شرقی ایرانه ولی خب اصالتا مشهدی نیستم، یعنی پدر و مادرم اهل مشهد نیستن.
اهل کجا تو ایران هستید؟
ملایر. ملایر یک شهر کوچیکیه توی غرب کشور ایران. غرب کشور. نزدیک همدان. همدان اولین پایتخت ایران بوده.
واقعا؟ شهر تهران خیلی بزرگتر از این شهر.
بله، خیلی بزرگتر.
من در تهران نیستم. من در اهواز هستم. اهواز شهری در جنوب غربی ایران است. Ahvaz is a city in the southwestern part of Iran.
Ahvaz is one of the hottest cities in the world, with a record high temperature of 54 degrees Celsius, the highest recorded in any city, according to the information I could find. الان این شهر بزرگه؟
بله، این شهر بزرگه. البته نه به اندازه توکیو، ولی حدود 2 میلیون نفر در این شهر زندگی میکنن.
2 میلیون؟
Yeah. 2 million, around 2 million people live here.
واقعا؟ زیاد هستن.
Yeah.
I also learned about Fatime's home province.
مازندران خیلی قشنگه و خیلی سبزه.
This is the province of Mazandaran in northern Iran. Iran is usually included in definitions of the Middle East, but this looks really different from the stereotypical image of the Middle East, doesn't it? Learning the basics of Persian over the past 2 weeks has been overwhelming and exhausting, but also exciting and motivating, and overall just a great experience. Even being able to make simple conversation with native speakers opens up a new world to you. Of course, everyone I spoke to speaks English as well, so even if you don't know any Persian, there's no reason you can't communicate with people from Iran. But of course, learning some of the language gives you deeper insight into the people and their culture. For example, there are lots of Arabic loanwords in Persian, and it's written in the Perso-Arabic script. So even though I knew it was an Indo-European language, on some level I thought of it geographically as a Middle Eastern language. But Persian is so Indo-European and feels very intuitive for a native speaker of English. And I feel like that similarity extends beyond the language. In short, even though I'm far from fluent and just learned some basics, I feel like I achieved my goal of learning Persian to make a connection with the people of Iran. And I really do like the Persian language more than most languages I've dabbled in, so I hope I can keep it up even if I have to slow down the pace. As for how I approached this learning challenge, I would say that you can learn a lot of the basics of a language by diving in head first and learning whatever you need to stay afloat. I used the Pimsleur course to gain an awareness of some of the basics, including pronunciation, but a lot of what I did was using a phrase book as a source of useful sentences to learn. I've heard this referred to as sentence mining. I ignored most of the sentences in the phrase book and focused on the sentences that I thought would be useful in simple conversations with strangers. Then I took those sentences and made Anki flashcards with them, and also broke them down to figure out the grammar of those sentences. After I started taking online conversational lessons, I started using those conversations as sources of useful sentences and words to learn. Since I learned those sentences in the context of a simple conversation, I thought that similar sentences would be useful in future conversations. And once you're beyond the basics, in a similar way, you could focus on words and sentences necessary for situations you might speak the language in or topics you want to be able to talk about. So you don't have to go through entire textbooks or courses in order from start to finish in a linear way. You can just dive in and figure out what you need to learn. Of course, this way of learning is intense and a bit chaotic, especially if you take conversational lessons as a beginner. And if you don't really dive in but just put your toes in the water, then you probably won't learn a lot using this approach. If you're not a maniac and having a balanced life is more important to you than your speed of progress, then you can take the more normal approach of going through a linear language course and then taking conversational lessons once you have a conscious understanding of the basics. An audio course from Pimsleur is one great way to get started on this path. You can try it out for free using my link in the description. People in the USA, Canada, the UK, and Australia get a 7-day free trial, and I believe other people get 1 free trial lesson. I really enjoy using Pimsleur courses and find them quite addictive. I think either approach is fine. It just depends on your circumstances and how much time and energy you're willing to invest, and for how long. I don't consider myself an authority on language learning. These are just my impressions. I want to know how you approach it as well. The question of the day. For Persian speakers, are there any interesting Persian idioms or expressions you want to share with us? I'm aware that Persian can be a very poetic language. And for everyone, have you ever learned the basics of a language in a short period of time, like before a trip or an event of some sort? How did you approach it? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Now it's time to give a shout out to all of the Langfocus Patreon supporters, especially the ones whose names appear right here on the screen. They're the top tier Patreon supporters, so many extra special thanks go out to them. Patreon members get to see videos early and with no ads or promotions. Visit patreon.com/Langfocus to become a member. If you enjoyed this video, then check out these videos I made several years ago about the history and structure of the Persian language. I'm sure you'll find them fascinating.